review week, week 32, registered yoga teacher training. And every week ending in a 2, we either do a sequence or we have a cumulative review. So in week 2, we learned Sun Salutation A. In week 12, we reviewed the first 9 poses that we learned. Week 22, we learned the next 9 poses that we learned. That was 18. Since then, we've learned another 9 poses, 27. I'm good on the math. And that is too many poses for a yoga class generally, right? I have expert yogi of 25 plus years experience. At a certain age, you kind of stop counting. So he's been 25 plus for a while, but I think he's certainly a guru. So maybe you can kind of tell us a little bit about that, like, you know, what might be too much or too little in terms of a sequence. And I thought for today, we're sort of at the point, because we're more than halfway through the course. It's a 52 session. It's based on 52 sessions, and we're on 32. So week 26 was halfway. So I feel like now that we're more than half, the cumulative reviews aren't really cumulative. It's just kind of like a spot check. It's more like applying our knowledge. Because I think it's just too many poses that could lead to injury, you know?
So, you know, it's interesting that you bring this up. I'm going to come on camera in a second.
Okay.
It's interesting that you bring this up because you can do too much, right? What does too much mean? You know, we have all this knowledge. Like, you go to school, you learn, you go to college, you get a master's degree, and then sometimes you go for a job interview and you get this thing called overqualified. Right? So that you can be overqualified as a yoga teacher, right? Because you want to bring too much to the table. So I have always come from a less is more approach. And in a yoga teacher training, which this yoga teacher training is a lot more compressed, meaning you're learning a lot more, you're getting a lot more for your money in the ShareLove.Fund method. I only learned 30 poses in my yoga teacher training, and we didn't learn flows at all. All we did was sun salutation for our flows, and we learned the big poses individually over almost a year. So my teachers just expanded it out differently. Again, just a different method. What I like about the ShareLove.Fund method is that you have something to do every week, and you have a week to perfect that. Or let me reframe that. Let me re-say that. A week to ingrain that into your being, right?
Yes.
So practice makes permanent, not perfect, because we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
I love that practice makes permanent,
right?
Because I'm big on repetition and kinetic learning, and as you know, we have no mandatory tests or quizzes, and instead of worrying about it, let's just do something.
Exactly. So if you're overwhelmed and you have 52 poses to choose from in a class, I will tell you that you're going to need probably 52 weeks to do that class. So I'm being facetious and funny, but it's kind of truthful. So I would say, like, whatever resonates with you when you start working as a yoga teacher or you start developing classes on your own, stick with that for a little while. Make that permanent, ingrain it. Because when you make up other sequences and you have so many pages or so many notes on sequences, you've arrived and you're ready to teach. And then after a while, those notes just go like this, and all you do is show up with presence and whatever comes to mind. I teach from a presence point of view. I was never one to lay classes out. I always had an idea, but you can come with a whole suitcase of ideas. My 52 poses, 26 in each hand. And then what happens is, Ashley says today, Peter, I hurt my wrist. Shit, I want to do a lot of planks.
Shoot.
Sugar, I wanted to do a lot of planks, and I wanted to do a lot of down dog sitting, a lot of vinyasas. But I can't because her wrist bothers her, right? Or her neck bothers her. So you have to be prepared to be able to be flexible.
In life, and this is why I love doing the yoga teacher trainings and not just doing a yoga workout with you, but teaching you to be a teacher. Whether or not you ever choose to actually teach yoga as a vocation. It is such an important life skill because it comes down to knowing your audience. So if you are 16 years old and you're asking your parents for permission for something, know your audience. Like, I'll just embarrass my daughter and say this example, but my daughter texted me at 10 o'clock at night a forward from TikTok that she thought was really valuable parenting advice. It was like, what your parents should know. But she's 11 years old and she just ended up getting in trouble for being on TikTok at 10 p.m. on her phone. So, know your audience. Like, I'm not going to absorb that parenting advice when, like, my generation, they don't really want to get advice from TikTok from their minor children at 10 p.m. So know your audience. So whether if you're teaching a class like Peter said and you want to be heavy on planks, but your audience has a hurt wrist, know your audience and adjust it, because the thing is you can't actually cram it down. Maybe you can have a mild short-term gain that way, but it's not going to last. Like, for better, for worse, to achieve, you're not even going to achieve the goal you want to achieve when your audience is not flowing with you. Like for example, my daughter, it was not a persuasive way for her to give me this information. If she kind of knew her audience, she could have persuaded me. If you are gung-ho as a teacher to really make your students sweat, well, still know your audience and then use what you know about them to kind of craft a plan that can maybe achieve both goals.
Yeah, and I would just say, no, this is not rambling. This is a very important topic, because I've been approached by other students like, how do I put this together? I have so much I want to do. And I would say, well, what's the simplest way to put two poses together and then add a third to that? Know that it's not about doing things the way, you have to do things the way your body works. I teach from what I want to teach that day versus what the clients need. And usually what I want to teach that day, right? Unless there's an injury, they actually are very receptive towards it. I have come in here to teach, actually, we've been working together going on 4 years now. And there's been times I've kicked her butt, and there's been times I've kicked her butt and I can see that she's looking at me with laser beams coming out of the eyes, and she just wants to chill. And I have to tone that down. She said, learn how to read your audience. I say the biggest lesson you can learn as a yoga teacher is learn how to read the room. A lot of us today don't read the room. Why? Because we're too busy in our notes, too busy on our phone, too busy with the playlist, too busy with electronics not working. Arrive early. If you're teaching at a studio, arrive early. Make sure everything's working. Give yourself that time. Don't worry about being paid for it, because you're paying yourself by being present. So if you need to show up 15 to 20 minutes before your class, highly suggested, whether you get paid for that or not, that you're paying yourself by being present. This way, when your student starts to show up, you're much more present for them. And guess what? Your class will flow better, you'll flow better, and everything will work. I always say drop the notes. Teach from your mind, from your heart, from your soul. Drop the notes. Learn them, ingrain them. You need to be in practice to be able to apply the practice of yoga, to be able to teach. So what do I mean? Less is more. The fewer poses you offer, the better to start. Again, the fewer poses you offer, the better to start. Instead of trying to achieve 25 poses within a class, pick a peak pose of the day, or of that class, or of the week. It could just simply be plank. It could be side plank. It could be chair pose with different variations. It could be high lunge with different variations of arm and legs. It could be warrior two with many different variations as well. It could be revolve triangle. Pick a peak pose. Make that the highlight. And then develop a sequence to get there, and develop a sequence to come out of it. And don't forget, you have both sides. So you can add a lot and take away a lot.
That sounds great. I'm going to just move this a little bit because I want to get the whole mat in, but not everything else.
There we go.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
We all just got dizzy there, didn't we? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so maybe that works. Okay.
So-
but without further ado.
Without further ado, so today, Ashley, you did ask for restorative, right? So we did do a lot.
Because there's not much escape on live, you know.
But we're gonna do a little bit of work. We're gonna make her earn
But
restorative.
I'm at his mercy, so.
We're gonna make her earn restorative. What do you guys say? We'll make her earn restorative. So we won't work her too hard. We were very shoulder heavy, plank heavy the last time we worked. So we'll back that off a little bit. All right?
Sounds good.
And she's not really saying that she was sore from that, even though it was challenging.
Yeah, so I wasn't sore, and I think that is when it's not so much what you do, it's how you do it. So I think a really great yoga instructor will have you move between poses and also do contraindicating poses to offset the muscle strain and really even it out. So I feel like a well-sequenced yoga class can almost be like a massage and a workout in one. So, you know, sometimes we work out, then we have lactic acid buildup, and then we need a massage. But if you integrate it all within the hour or hour and a half, that's why I love these hour and a half sessions, because I feel like it really gives us a chance to both work and stretch. When you integrate it all, you don't necessarily have to be sore. This idea of no pain, no gain, like does not work in yoga. Generally when there's pain, it's not so good. So there's definitely a way to kind of ease into it, like putting broccoli in a child's smoothie. You know, you can, that's what yoga can do for muscle building.
Well, I think of yoga as yin and yang, right? The yang is all the fire. The yin is the calming, right? Whether male, female, don't worry about that stuff. Just worry about yin and yang. The yang is the fire, holding the poses, getting all that fire out of us, using all that energy. And then the yin, I spend a lot of time on the yin part afterwards.
Yeah.
And I hold my poses. So I might not do 25 stretches, but I will hold certain stretches to counteract all the poses that you did, using whether you use your legs or arms.
Okay.
You okay there? You just
I
had a fight with
survived
your Okay, you're good. This
Okay.
is live and we love it.
So yeah, he's talking about kicking my butt. So I'm
Okay.
thinking I need to lose the hoodie.
She's showing up. That means that she's ready. All right. So let's come to a nice, comfortable seat. Thank you all for listening to us. Let's come to a nice, comfortable seat. And let's begin to close our eyes or have a soft gaze and begin to notice how you feel. Notice the texture of your breath. Notice if there are any areas of tension that lies within the body. Just notice. And if there are areas of tension, bring the breath to those areas. Imagine the tension, the breath. Imagine the breath getting into those areas and begin to melt that tension away. With each inhale, bringing fresh oxygen into the body, oxygenating all of our blood cells. With each exhale, ridding the body of what no longer serves us. And envision yourself moving today with ease. Envision yourself moving with breath, linking breath with movement. Being mindful as we link breath with movement. fill the belly, ribs, and chest. Exhale from the chest, the ribs, and belly. Some popcorn there. I love it. A few more rounds of breath. And sometimes just going in and quieting the mind, bringing calm to the nervous system. Using the breath as the bridge between the mind and the body to provide ease, to minimize tension, to cultivate awareness around us and within us. And then very, very slowly, maintaining your eyes closed, make your way onto your back. And once you arrive on your back, hug your knees to chest. And just feel what it feels like to be supported by Mother Earth. And then very slowly just begin to sway your hips side to side. Give yourself a little massage in the lower back. Go slow with this. Use the breath and move slowly. Move slowly. A few more rounds of breath. And then very, very slowly, allow your arms to come alongside you as you extend your legs toward the sky. Hugging the thighs in towards one another, walking the shoulders away from the ears, lengthening through the back of the neck. Pulling the belly in and up toward the rib cage. Drawing your sacrum down toward the earth. Doing our first back bend. Or forward fold. Sorry, not back bend, forward fold.
I was like, well, for a geriatric, I was gonna say, this might not feel like a back bend depending on how old you are, but Peter has some older clients, and I know my parents as well, their shoulders really come up. So for them, if they could even lay back flat, which they cannot, it, I guess, would feel like a back bend. So the deal is you use it or lose it. That I think does apply with yoga. And
absolutely.
if you can lay on your back on a hard surface, because the bed doesn't really do the same job. If you can lay on a hard surface, every day for a minute, or something that's feasible for you. Backs don't just curl up overnight, right?
Nope.
So it's like little tension that doesn't get released, and then the buildup and accumulation of that tension that doesn't get released, and then the spine curls.
Yep.
Peter's the anatomy guru, so he can, I was an English major, so I'll just stop before I give misinformation, but I mean, the idea is that injuries start with a whisper.
Yep.
So if you listen to that whisper and you correct the whisper, it's pretty easy to correct a whisper, and then you won't have an accumulative problem.
That's right. Okay, now extend your arms up toward the sky. Palms facing in towards one another. Walk the shoulders down away from the ears just a bit more. Beautiful. So here we are. This is a forward fold, not a back bend. We will be doing a back bend to counteract this. Thank you for that, Ashley.
And also, if you do a back bend every day, then lying flat, then if you lose your flexibility, then what do you have? You have a nice straight back.
You do.
So it's all relative. So I think that that's also the merit of the back bend, is because it gives you more range to work with. So if you lose some range of motion, you're still straight.
Not only that, when you do back bends from the heart, and you open and you lean back more, you're also able to breathe better. It's also very calming, because a lot of us become chest breathers and our chest tightens up, which hence can lead to other things like anxiety. And then from here, begin to lower your feet toward the earth, and then walk your hands alongside you. And then inhale, press into the feet. Exhale, lift your hips. Just hover, just hover, just hover. Let the glutes start to bake a little, start to cook, start to simmer. And as we walk our shoulders in away from our ears, inhale, exhale, press down into the heels and lift up a bit higher. Inhale, press into your feet. Exhale, lift your chest and hips a little bit higher. You want to lift from the chest first and then the hips. Yes. And then walk your hands beneath you. Interlace your hands. Walk the elbows beneath you. So you're doing a heart opener. This is a true back bend, not what I was saying before. Breathe in here. Inhale.
I thought this is really a restorative class.
It is
I'm
restorative.
laying flat, and it's called a back bend. I'm like, that's awesome.
Now, begin to lean into your knees a little. Good. And then lift your hips higher. Good. Yeah, a little bit more space there. More glute involvement. Now, lift your chin so you can allow the trachea to do its work. Breathe. Open up the pathway for breath. And then walk your elbows beneath you just a bit more as you lift your chest higher. Good job, Ashley. 3 more breaths here. Nice, easy, smooth breaths. And then very, very, very slowly, begin to allow the arms and hands to come apart. Hold the hips right where they are. And on an 8 count, from your upper back to lower back, begin to draw your hips toward the earth. And then point your legs up toward the sky. So this is a restorative, counteract what we just did. Strengthen our hamstrings, open up our glutes, open up our lower back. Now draw your arms out to shoulder height. Not on the earth, out to shoulder height. Beautiful. Palms face down or up, yogi's choice. Now bend your knees, and then allow your knees to drop over towards the right side, looking over your left shoulder. And then from here, inhale the knees up come to center. Exhale over to the left side. Inhale, knees up to center. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Ankle. No, ankle over knee.
We're not all anatomy experts.
Now,
hey, this is my ankle, I'm figuring it out. This is my
exactly. Now, bring your foot.
Know your audience.
Bring your foot and knee over to the left.
Okay.
Just drop them over to the left. That's it. Just like that. Beautiful. Now, press the back of your right hip down. Good. Keep that ankle, glued. Yes. Now, using the force of your glute, your right hip, press your right knee out. Just using the force of your knee. Yes. Now, bring your right hip down more. No, hip.
Yeah,
Good.
it's tight.
So what we're stretching there is your hip flexor. It's a little different than we normally do.
It's really, really a cool way to get at the hip flexor. If you're doing this at home and you don't feel it, it might just be that your hips are really loose. Being really tight has a benefit, and that is that you can sort of feel everything.
Oh yeah.
As you do. So my hips are really tight, and so I really am able to feel this easily. So whenever you're tight, and you start to kind of get that negative self-talk, beating yourself up like, oh, I'm not flexible, say, wait, this is such an advantage, because immediately you can feel it where you're supposed to, and then you know you're working something.
So for those of you who are called bendy, or who are super flexible or hypermobile, the way to access and get this is to focus on pressing the middle of your right glute down. So imagine you can even slide your right hand underneath there to press your glute into your hand, under your butt. So press your glute down on top of your hand.
Yeah.
That's like feedback for you to be able to access, and you get a little deeper stretch, right?
It's so great. It's like we do these twists, but somehow doing the twist face up feels so different. I don't think I've ever in all my years done like with this kind of face up twist. I don't know, you'd think it's the same whether you're laying on your stomach and twisting or not, but it's
I'm gonna tell you the truth behind this. I don't want you
it's like a panini twist, like an open face twist.
Well, I don't want you to get bored of me, so I keep coming up with things that I have in my back pocket.
Well, I did, sorry to be so chatty today, but since it is a yoga teacher training, I did read that in order to keep clients, that's like a business essentials technique to just always kind of keep it fresh, and that way people have to keep coming back for more.
That's right. So this is a brand new stretch for Ashley, but I've been doing this stretch since I trained as a yoga teacher. It's a great way to access the hips.
The article also said end with a teaser. So,
right? With a precursor for next.
Wow, next week is really going to be great, but
always
I'm
leave a
telling you.
precursor for next. Don't give all your secrets away. Okay, now from here, just like you brought the foot and knee down together as one unit, do the same thing as you bring them up slowly together. Yes, and keep it just like that. Now, let's go for the figure 4 stretch. Just bring your left knee, and then grab behind the left knee. There you go. And then you're just getting the outer hip stretched. Breathe. So we're weaving in the restorative with the work. Okay, young lady. We're going to uncoil the legs. We're going to draw the left ankle over the right knee. Left ankle over right knee. So now, arms out to shoulder height. And then the foot and knee over to the right. That right side, yes. The foot planted, firmly planted. Good. Now, practice bringing your left hip down. Good job, Ashley. A little tighter on this side. I could tell. And you're feeling this more on the top of the hip, right where You feel this more like where your hip meets where your pants are, right? Where the pants meet the shirt.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Also, the first time I do a pose, my body is sort of in shock. Like, wait, what are we doing? Nobody told me I wanted to speak to management kind of thing. And so when I do the same pose on the other side, it always seems a little easier, but I think it's also because I know what's coming. So it's just interesting how our minds limit us and to really.
So does this feel easier on this side?
Yeah.
Okay. May I come in and
Yeah.
provide some assistance? So we're gonna have Ashley access this pose. Maybe it is a little easier for her. So this is what I would do to make it a little bit more challenging. I bring this up a little higher, and then I would have her imagine pressing your hip down first. No, don't adjust your hips, just press down.
Okay.
Now you feel that, right?
Yeah.
Hold that there. Hold that there. Now, press your knee into my hand.
Okay.
See the difference?
Yeah.
And if you wanted this to be even more challenging, take your right hand, wrap it around here. Now, press your knee away. And then press your glute
That
down.
actually really helps. When I grip my ankle with my right hand, it sort of gives me leverage.
Yep.
And I can really get a lot deeper into the stretch.
Yep, and then focus on dropping this straight down. So as if you're doing one-on-ones with your students, or even in a group class, you can come in and say, may I? And you can hold the knee, and then press the hip down. Inhale, and then exhale, go a little deeper. That's how you're gonna get your students to access this a little bit better. And you could have your students hold by holding that glute down. Activate the glute to hold it, and then activate the outer hip to press the knee away a little bit more.
When this is really done right, it completely relieves lower back tension.
Yep.
That's what
Yep.
I'm feeling, and that is also a source of injury. So
Yep.
if we really stretch these things, then we don't have to fight it and
Yep.
then deal with injury.
So the reason why this stretch is so effective is because you get the hip flexor in the front, which goes from the belly button through the top of the hip. So this is your hip bone, goes in the inner part of the hip, and then you're getting your glute. They oppose each other. You're stretching both out together.
And you don't normally think about stretching your stomach, but
It's very important.
and that is also, it gets tight with anxiety, stress.
So the reason why I had you do bridge pose, and also dead bug when you had your legs lifted, and then you did bridge pose, the back bend, is to open up, to get some blood flow to these areas so that we can access this stretch a little easier. Okay. Now from here, uncoil the legs, and actually, let's do the figure 4 stretch, right? So, bring that up, yep, let's do the figure 4 stretch. I got a little ahead of ourselves here. Figure 4 stretch, and don't be afraid if you miss one thing on one side over the other. Believe me, some students will say, well, we forgot about this, because students want to be so symmetrical, which is fine, and you know what? If you did forget, 25 years, I still forget, so don't be afraid of forgetting.
Also, sometimes students
And have fun
get
with it.
so relaxed, they think that it's forgotten, but it wasn't. So sometimes they'll be like, it was forgotten, and when that happens, like, it really doesn't matter who is right, just like, be like, well, it's okay because we're going to work the left side a little more as we go down to lizard, so don't worry about it, or something like that. Like, basically, students just want to have a little assurance, like, listen to them, but if you think that they're going to get a symmetrical workout anyway, then just proceed with your class instead of trying to backtrack, like, who's right,
That's
what
right.
was it missed or not missed.
That's right. Now uncoil the legs and come into a happy baby. Watch how much more accessible this happy baby is than normal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're gonna feel much more behind the knee and right at the top of the glute, inner thighs, hamstrings. So so she can access her heels a little bit easier. Now, the same activation you did with your hip, think about if you had something under your hips, pressing your sacrum down and holding, see how her legs want to join her? We don't want that. We want the sacrum to press down. And the feedback could be the mat. So sometimes if a student's comfortable, I do put my hand under their sacrum and have them press it down. But if you don't feel comfortable, you can have them just use the back, the mat or the ground as feedback. Do you feel that right there, that little stretch? Mm-hmm. And you feel a stretch right in your lower sacrum. Another very important area to stretch for lower back trouble. Okay, Ashley. Now just plant your feet onto the earth. Have your feet wide apart like they were, and then your knees together just to support your hip flexor. And just rest here. This is the restorative opposite of happy baby. And just breathe and feel your way into it. Feel what it's like to be still, to surrender, to go inward. And then very, very slowly hug your knees to chest. See, feel as if you feel like your lower back to mid back is a lot flatter on the ground.
Yeah, it really helped, and starting with the bridge pose also really helped set that up for success.
Good. That's what it's about. Now we're coming back to our original pose, dead bug. Arms alongside you. Good. Walk your shoulders away from the ears. And you're going to feel more core. You're going to feel a lot more core with this one now. Why? Because your lower back is not as tight. Mm-hmm. And your hips and hip flexors are not involved. Your quads are not involved. So sorry, a lot more emphasis on core.
But that's interesting, actually. We always think of tightness as, oh, well, I'm not flexible or something like that. But actually, what you're saying from an anatomy perspective, if I'm correct, and let me know if I'm not catching your gist correctly, but are you saying that when you're tight, it actually diminishes your ability to work the muscles? Because you're like restraining and you're 100%. Not getting into that core.
100%.
So that's interesting. So for those of you that just like to work out and don't like to stretch, and you think, you know what, I just want to work on building muscles and I don't want to stretch, well, actually what Peter's saying with his experience as a certified massage therapist and anatomy guru and yoga, RYT with thousands of hours, he's saying that you have to stretch to really work the muscles. Otherwise, you're going to just work out in a constrained way.
You're going to keep constricting your muscles, and then guess what? Injury. Mm. I always think of the body as like whack-a-mole. Right? So if something's persistently tight and you keep at it, it's going to pop. So as Ashley said before, I love when she brings that up, the whisper. Listen to the whispers. So I didn't ask her if things were whispering before we started, but I'm pretty sure, this is her first start of exercise for the day. So maybe her lower back and hips were tight today. As you can tell, when I was pressing that left hip down, helping her access it more, we were able to open it up more. So she didn't even realize she was tight there. Her body didn't have the communication didn't develop the communication this morning to be able to open up those areas. So now she feels this a little bit more, perhaps. I don't want to put words in her mouth. But I know her cores are in a lot more. As you can see, starting to boil into her face. Her face is starting to turn red.
I'm just super thankful we're not going on this tangent while I'm in plank.
We are. We're going to plank next, and we're going to hold plank for 4 hours. All right, now hug the knees to chest. Beautiful. But you still feel it the more we go off on a tangent, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that even this restorative pose, your legs can shake if you're really squeezing it. And it just goes to show you can activate yourself in any position.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Tadasana being your second favorite
Absolutely,
pose.
absolutely. Now from here, hands behind the knees. This is your favorite, forward and back.
Like this?
Yep, forward and back, yep. Let's think of this as getting some chiropractic pops into the back. Go nice and easy. Do that, touch that. I love that. Touch the blanket behind you. Reach back, almost like in plow. Do a few more of these. Keep the spine rounded. One more of these. And then when you land, don't allow your feet to touch the ground. No, come up, yeah, and just hold.
Okay.
Just hold. Now we're gonna go off on a tangent. Just hold. So this is a perfect segue to introduce bridge pose. If someone's never done bridge, it's a perfect segue. Now hug it in and drop your feet and relax.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So see, you didn't realize it was gonna get you to bridge pose. See, I like surprises. So how do we make a moderate to easy class a little bit challenging? Surprise your students. Surprising. I got totally caught her by surprise. She thought she was just gonna do a simple roll forward and back, but I caught her, right? She caught herself. Now, let's plant the feet onto the ground. Let's slide back a little bit first to the middle of the mat. Perfect, that's it, that's it. Now from here, bring your hands behind your knees. Lift your feet. Pull the belly in with your feet. Now, lift your heart. Good. You can stay right here. Squeeze your thighs together. Belly in. Shoulders are away from the ears. She's lifted up to the crown. Look directly out in front of you. Lift your chin just a little to be parallel. Yes, to be aligned. Now, just extend your right arm. Just the right arm. Beautiful. Hold behind the right knee with your right hand. And extend your left arm. Breathe. Make this nice and easy and smooth. Squeeze the legs together. Bring your left hand back. Breathe in. Now extend both arms. Beautiful. Bring your arms a little closer together. Beautiful. Bring them a little higher. That's it. Breathe. And reach behind and hold. No, reach your hands behind your knees.
Okay.
And hold. Yeah, knees and hold. Now, from here, point your feet up. You can.
Like up.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Sorry, like out.
Just out. Yep.
Okay.
That's
Woo.
it. You got this.
Okay.
Beautiful. Keep the shoulders. For a breath in, breath out, and relax.
Okay, I can try it again.
That's okay. No, you're good. You're good.
It's a practice, not a perfect.
Exactly. It's not permanent. Look at how perfect that was, though.
I don't know. It's
Where does
live.
that-
Where
Where does
we're
that come
human.
from? Core.
Yes.
Right? It comes from a lot of
And
core.
also, I think you feel it in your weakest point, so I also feel it
In your
in my
thighs.
thighs.
Yes. But look at that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I know.
Now, bring your legs apart. Bring the legs apart. Yeah, and then just lean forward to counteract. Yeah, that's it. Relax your shoulders. Draw your hands beneath your shoulders. Elbows beneath your shoulders. Yes. That relaxes the arms. We're going to use them. You want your arms as relaxed as possible. Inhale. Exhale.
The straddle is so great because like in daily life, you don't really stretch that part. So I think, and in a lot of sports, you don't really stretch it, but that's actually how you can pull a muscle making a lunge in tennis or something like that. So by doing a straddle in a yoga class, it's really an opportunity to get that kind of stretch when other things, are like more, I don't know, forward.
Yes.
So it's a unique opportunity in a yoga class. So it's nice to weave in a straddle.
And the good thing here is that we're doing this in a yin sort of around, making this sort of a yin pose. So I'm gonna have her relax her shoulders even more by bringing her elbows even closer to the body. And then now, the last piece, see she's holding her head? Drop the head. Just let the head go even more. Draw the chin to chest. Is your chin, there you go.
It thinks it's relaxed. Maybe
It's there,
not,
it's
but
getting
it
there,
thinks
it's
it's
getting there. Now, part your lips. Soften the space between your eyebrows. And allow the belly to just be nice and soft. Allow the shoulders to relax. Allow the face to relax. Okay. Now from here, slide your hands beneath your shoulders and then gently stack the lower back to upper back one at a time as you work your way up. And then from here, draw your feet together. And then from here, let's lift up to the crown. Plant your sacrum down. So root the sacrum down and extend the arms directly out in front of you. No, we're not folding. Just extend the arms out in front. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Dandasana.
A bug, like a samurai bug.
There you go.
If
This
that
is called
was that
Dandasana.
bug,
This is a very good pose for posture. This is called Dandasana. All right, draw the shoulder blades in towards one another. Pull the shoulder blades back. Good. Flex your feet. Point your feet. Flex. Point. And come to your middle there. Perfect. Press your sacrum down and lift up to the crown of the head. Pull the belly in. This is constant adjustments. This looks easy, but it's not. It's great for posture. Inhale. Requires a lot of core strength to hold here, doesn't it? It's another way to work Ashley's core. This time she's not rested on her back. So this is the same pose as she was rested on her back. Same pose as in down dog. Breathe, Ashley. And then now from here, lower your hands to rest for a moment. Now, your right knee, reach for your right knee, and then plant your foot onto the ground. All right? And then from here, inhale, lift up to the crown, lift up the arms up overhead. And exhale, rotate to the right, bring your left elbow on the outside of your right knee, and bring your right hand closer to the body. Right hand, yes. Left shoulder down. Beautiful. Matsyendrasana. Seated twist. Good job, Ashley. Breathe in, breathe out. And then inhale, arms reach out and overhead. And the exhale, rotate and just take a counter twist to the opposite side. Beautiful. Now, bring your left knee into chest and extend your right leg. Yes. And then your elbow's right there to bring your right elbow on the outside of your left knee.
Okay. He's asking the tough questions.
Now bring your left hand closer to your body. That's your
Left hand closer to the body, okay? It's gonna send me back to kindergarten.
Shoulders away
But
from
that's
your ears.
okay.
Lift up to the crown. Shoulders away from your ears. Good.
That's where the fun is.
Yes.
And then should I be looking behind me or?
You can. You can look behind you. Some people look towards the left, some people look behind them. Depends on your neck. You don't want to strain your neck. If you feel strained, you back off. Does that make sense? If you can't breathe in this pose, you back off. That's a very important, very important for yoga. If you're doing an exercise or if you're doing a pose and you cannot breathe in that pose, back off, because that's when you open yourself up to injury. Mold and form, don't force. Mold into the pose, form into the shape. If it's straining, back off. If you feel like it's too much effort, back off. You want to ease into everything. And then very slowly, inhale, arms reach out and overhead. Exhale, rotate to the right, just to counteract. Okay, and then from here, inhale, arms reach out and overhead. Extend both legs out in front, arms are overhead. No, extend both legs out in front. Keep reaching up to the arms. Reach, 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 reach. Flex your feet towards you, and then begin to slowly fold at the hip. At the hip, reach for the, relax your elbows down, and then fold. Take that stretch. Good job, Ashley. And then we slowly begin to come back to a seated position, and then begin to make your way onto all fours. Beautiful. Come into some cat-cows.
I'm just gonna do a little housekeeping.
I'm always doing housekeeping in yoga.
Well, I always say if you don't have a bolster to sit on a pile of laundry, so.
That's right. That's right.
So, can we housekeeping?
Now from here, inhale, tuck your toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog.
Okay. Prevent an outfit snafu and then push up into down dog.
Spread your fingertips wide. Press your chest towards your knees. Turn your heels slightly out. Turn your heels out a little bit. Yeah, there you go. That activates your outer glutes. And then inhale. Slight bend in your knees. Exhale, come into plank. All right, now we're going to have a discussion. I didn't forget.
Oh, gosh.
Breathe here. Inhale. Exhale, shift your weight forward ever so slightly. Walk your hands an inch forward so that your shoulders land over your wrists. Beautiful. Engage your core, belly in. Hug your thighs together. So what is that about anatomy you want to discuss? Drop the elbows down onto the earth. Come into forearm plank. Lift up to the hips ever so slightly. Belly in. Beautiful. Hug the thighs together. And then come down onto the belly. Make a little pillow for yourself. Bend your knees.
Okay.
Rest your forehead on your knees. Sway your feet side to side.
So yeah, the only way to get stronger is by doing it, so thank you. Even though I complain.
Here's a challenge for you at home. The poses that you hate the most, do the most. That's where the growth is. You know how to do XYZ pose, this pose, that pose. They're easy to do, they're accessible. Design a class for yourself where you pick one peak pose that you do not like. Obviously make it safe. I wouldn't recommend doing like a headstand if you've never done it. No, anything or like a scorpion or any of those very, very, very challenging poses. But like, suppose you hate plank. I would say get to know it. Hold it more. Make it accessible, make it friendly. And you'll find that when you grow in those type of poses, all the other poses will be even more effortless. Now from here, plant the feet onto the earth. Inhale. Slide the hands beneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes under. Exhale. Power yourself up through plank. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk the dog. Bend the knees. Spread those fingertips wide. And then from here, begin to come to stillness. Lower your heels toward the earth. Lift your toes. Yeah, get the stretch in the hamstrings. Feel the calf stretching. Hamstrings. Now lower the toes. Inhale, come into plank pose. Forward to plank. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Heels over your toes. As you shift your weight forward. Hug your thighs in towards one another. Relax your shoulders away from the ears. Even more. Good. Now, lengthen through the back of the neck. Allow the head to drop just an inch or so. Let go of that head. Let go, let go, let go. Right there. Beautiful. Breathe. Now, hug the thighs in towards one another without moving the legs. Press the earth away from you. Press that earth away from you. Spread your fingertips wide. Press that earth away from you for 5 more breaths. Slow. 2. Pull the belly in and up. 3. 4. Forearm plank. Breathe here. Lift up through the core, lift the belly just a bit.
So close to being.
You got this. You got this. Don't give in. Don't give in. You got this. You got this. You got this. You got this. Breathe. You got this. You got this. Relax the neck a little bit. Lift up through the thighs.
Jeez.
Oh, come on. Come on. You got this.
No
you got
mercy.
this.
Okay.
You got this. Lift
It's
up.
for a good cause, I guess.
Lift up through the thighs. Lift up through the thighs. You got this. Breathe. Breathe. Child pose.
Okay. Child pose?
Child pose.
Oh my gosh.
You did it. You did it. You
Okay,
did it.
so.
You did it.
Wow, caught on camera. But my mind just wasn't having it.
That's right. It's mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
I love that. That's awesome.
So Ashley's heart rate, if she had a heart rate monitor, would be beating very fastly. Her arms, her arms might feel a little weak in that pose. So that's why I kept emphasizing core, core, core. Put more emphasis on the belly, on the core. Okay, Ashley, inhale, slide your hands beneath your shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, forward to plank. And hold for 5 breaths. Shift your weight forward, belly in. Spread your fingertips wide. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Lift up through the belly. Lift. Good. Keep lifting the belly. Hug your thighs towards one another. Squeeze those thighs together. Engage those knees.
Okay, I'm really dying here.
I know you are. Now come down onto the forearms.
Okay. Okay, my brain thought that was knees. Okay.
Now lift up your hips.
Okay.
You got this.
We talked about how forearm plank sometimes we collapse because psychologically we see ourselves so close to the ground. And that's sort of what's happening to me. Like I get to forearm plank and I'm just mentally done.
So now look towards the top of the mat.
Okay, but seriously, I mean like,
You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Look towards the top of the mat. Breathe for 5. For 4. Keep the knees lifted for 3. Come on, let's do for 5.
Okay.
A 5 count. Ready? For 5. For 4. Breathe. 3. Breathe. 2. Breathe. We'll start again.
Okay.
5.
Okay.
Till we get to 5. You got this. You got this. You got this. Stop the negative self-talk. It's mind over matter.
Oh, I'll try to do it And
That's it. This is
it's
your
the
last.
one.
This is your last one to the next one. No, I'm just teasing. This is the last one. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and child's pose. You did it.
Okay, thanks. That's what's really nice about working one-on-one is that you can't cheat
Nope.
as much as you try.
Bree, that was awesome, Ashley. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
We're not done with
I
the
tried
class.
to filibuster, but it didn't work.
We're not done with class, but thank you for holding plank. So as I said, that was the last one till the next one, right? Just
Oh
teasing.
gosh.
Inhale, slide the hands beneath the shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Chest and chin straight down. Inhale, baby cobra. Now lift the hands, take pressure off the arms. Lift the hands, yes. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Draw the elbows in toward the midline, yes. Lower the forehead down just a bit. Good. Now lift the legs. Yes, squeeze that glute. Squeeze those glutes to get them working. Squeeze the legs together. 5 breaths here. To counteract all the planks we just did. Engage, engage. And then from here, lower yourself, your forehead down, make a pillow for yourself, sway your hips side to side. Good job, Ashley.
Thanks.
Good job.
It's good to know that you can sweat a little bit in a yoga class.
Absolutely. You gotta give yourself permission to sweat. Okay, now from here, draw your arms out to shoulder height. Good, forehead onto the ground. Extend your legs behind you. Good. Lift that right leg straight up. And then bring that right leg all the way over to the left side of the mat. Left side, left side.
Okay.
The other, no, but don't roll over, don't roll over.
Okay.
Try to keep that left hip down as you pick up the right leg and just bring it across.
Okay, I see.
Now, bring it across, bring the knee across, more behind you. Yes, hold that there for a breath. And then begin to bring that leg behind you as you roll over onto your, but don't move your right hand, just try to roll over onto your left side. Roll, yes. Keep walking that right leg behind you, walk the right heel behind you even more, yes.
But
you want that stretch.
okay, I like the left shoulder stretch.
Yeah, but now you want your right leg back even more. Yes. Now you feel that in the front of the right hip?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Oops.
You can bend your knee. Good. Try to drop the knee down if you can. That's where the money is.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, that's a great stretch.
Good. So now we're getting hip flexor, left shoulder, right hip.
Yeah, it's
Right
amazing. Like when our posture is leaning forward too much, we're also like crunching even
Yep.
at the hip flexor.
Yep.
We always think we're crunching forward at our shoulders. We don't even realize we're crunching forward
Yep.
at our hips. So that's
So-
really
It's a great stretch.
yeah, that's really a great stretch.
Now try to pressure your knee down just a bit. Yeah, that's where the money is. You feel that right there?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm looking.
Yeah, you can- no. Just activate the knee like you did the outer part. Now you're gonna activate the inner part. Just hold this for a few breaths. You've earned this stretch.
Well, it's amazing. You don't even know what's tight until you start to stretch it, and then that's the cool thing about yoga. Like you didn't even know you had parts of you that even existed, let alone were so tight. And then you take a class and you're like, ooh, that's tight, that's tight.
I know, it's crazy what comes up.
Yeah, like I never thought of my stomach muscles as so tight. I'm always thinking about the back side of the body. I'm not thinking about the front side of the body. And this was a really great front side of the body stretch today.
All right. Now from here, slowly begin to stack your right leg on top of your left. Then roll over onto your belly. Let the body recalibrate just for a moment. So it's not necessarily getting into the shape, it's the journey between one to the next that counts. The shape is the ultimate outcome, but the journey from how we got to one to the next is really where the sweet spot is. Now from here, begin to lift your left leg and send that left leg all the way over to the right side. Let that hang first a little bit, and then from here, begin to bring that back behind you. Good, you can let that bend, and then now lower the knee down to the ground just a bit. Good, 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 good. Bigger stretch on this side. Good job, Ashley. And then very, very slowly, begin to slide your left leg on top of the right. And then make your way onto your belly. And just rest your forehead onto the ground. And then from here, begin to take let's come up into Sphinx Pose for a brief moment. You're gonna take your right arm, reach it under you. Reach it under your left arm. The whole entire right arm. Reach it, yep. And you're gonna scoot onto your right side and then make your way onto your back.
Okay.
How cool is that?
That's a
nice little.
You're getting all vinyasa on us.
Yes.
He likes to show his softer side.
A little
Say that he can flow and not just do boot camp, but
Exactly.
we really know he's the
boot camp guy.
boot camp guy, which is amazing for postpartum, by the way. After my 3 kids, I gained 80 pounds, and he,
Kicked your butt a little
yeah, over protest. As you saw today, a little bit of the back and forth where I say, okay, I'm done, and he said, okay, that's nice, let's try it again.
You're done with this one until the next one, that's all. But you were done with that minute, and then we're gonna move on to the next minute.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
in the end, it builds self-esteem because it
Yes.
feels better to
Yes.
have held it for the
Yes.
proper breath.
Now let's just rest. Let's allow the body to surrender. Bring the legs to the width of the mat. Palms face up, shoulders away from the ears. Drawing your focus and attention inward. Allowing the body to release, relax, let go. Giving your body permission to surrender. And in turn, giving the mind permission to surrender, to go inward, to provide ease. Cultivating Stillness. Taking an internal scan of the body. Drawing the breath to any areas of tension within the body. And then very, very slowly begin to bring awareness back to the body. Begin to wiggle your fingertips and wiggle your toes. Gently, gently, gently rotate the head from side to side. And then very slowly and mindfully plant the feet onto the earth. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself that nice squeeze. Rolling over onto either the right or left side. And then gently and mindfully pressing yourself up into a seated position. And you can have your eyes closed or a soft gaze. And just notice how you feel. Just notice. Were there any shifts from the start of the class till this moment? It doesn't have to be. It's just an offer.
I feel my spine is so much more in line. Like there were some cracks when we first started, and like pops in the shoulder and back, and that's I didn't realize all the tension that I was holding, so that feels so good and open. And then my stomach, I just basically met the fact that my stomach is super tight, sort of for the first time in this class. Like I always think of stretching the side, stretching the back, but I didn't realize that we hold so much tension in our stomach, and that's like a whole new universe to stretch. What I like to say to the incarcerated women that we serve, as you all know, thank you for watching our YouTube. The monetization on our YouTube pays for our free Yoga Alliance accredited degrees for incarcerated women. What I like to say is there is a lot to occupy your time just within you. There's only 24 hours in a day. I mean, you could spend an hour and a half just stretching your stomach. So, and I think for people in the free world, when we get overwhelmed, we can also draw inward and just work on ourselves.
Well, you know, when you first got up and first started talking, you described the massage effect. Your shoulders felt relaxed, your spine felt aligned.
Yeah.
That's the massage effect of doing the yin yang.
Yeah, yoga is great.
We didn't do any big, meaning powerful vinyasa flows, but you got your heart rate up. You felt the strength. You know, we did a lot of core-centric movements today. And that's the reason why you feel so much more aligned in your spine, plus all of the big heart opener back bends, you know. So
I also
thank you for your feedback.
Thank you, and if I can just add, I also
Absolutely,
think what's really nice about using the surface beneath you for that massage effect is a lot of people are alone, and we experienced isolation during COVID, and sometimes feels really good to have some physical sensory input, but it's also really nice to be autonomous and not dependent on anyone else. And so by rocking back and forth on the mat, that's a way to sort of simulate an interactive experience, but you can do it on demand because all it requires is you.
That's right. That's right. You know, we really are craving ourselves, even though we crave other people. We're craving ourselves more. We just don't know how to let ourselves be ourselves.
That's so interesting.
So when you learn how to crave yourself, then it's not necessarily that you don't need people, but then that person just becomes a complement versus a need. Because the need sets us up for, guess what? Failure.
Yes.
Disappointment. Expectation.
And also stress on the other person to have to hold themselves up and to hold up another person.
So that's why when two people come together, and I'm not just talking about romantic relationship, I just mean in relationship with another person, the more you come whole, the more authentic, the better you are for yourself, the better you can serve yourself and others. And as a yoga teacher, it's better to come from a place of wholeness and fullness. So cultivating that inward, what you described, is much more fulfilling and much more nourishing. So don't be afraid to really go inward. That yoga mat, think about scientists in a lab. You're doing R&D with yourself.
It's really interesting. I'm sorry I'm so talkative today, or I won't apologize. That's one of the no-nos, but it's so interesting when Peter said that with any human interaction, the more whole you are, the more comfortable you are with yourself, the better that human interaction will be. And he said, just to sum it up, even as an instructor, being whole, like not just in personal relationships, but even as an instructor. And this is so true. I just have a little anecdote. So I was meeting a new teacher for one of my children, and it was going to be a group of children with this new teacher. And I just kept on going off about what a great group of kids these kids were, because some kids were absent, to be honest, and not all the kids in the group were great, but the kids present that day were amazing. So I just kept on saying, like, oh, today you have this great group of kids. These kids are so great. And I was bragging about them because honestly, it was like my favorite group of kids. These kids are just so sweet and well-adjusted and things like that. But I think the instructor maybe was not coming from a place of wholeness, because he kept on saying, I have a level 4 qualification, and I've been doing this a very long time, and I'll be fine. And then I stepped back and I realized, oh my gosh, maybe he thought I was going on and on because I was nervous about leaving the kids under his tutelage, but it wasn't like that. I was just really excited that the group that showed up that day happened to have been, like a group I would have cherry picked. So it's just interesting. The way we perceive things is kind of about what's going on in our head. If you go to an event and you feel underdressed and someone says, oh, you look comfortable, you might interpret that as, oh shoot, I'm underdressed, but really they might really just be saying, wow, I wish I had that fabric. It looks really comfortable. So,
or they admire the fact that you're so comfortable that you'll wear what's comfortable for you.
Yeah, so I think
you can flip it any way you want to.
We need to work on ourselves, because when we avoid it, it just creates complexities among other people, and then that becomes a further distraction from the real work we have to do with ourselves.
Yeah. The hardest pose is working on yourself. It's the hardest pose. And what does that require? Sometimes it requires sitting with yourself. Sometimes it requires some movement. And yoga is not the only way. You can access this through running. You can access this through weightlifting. You can access this through a Pilates class, through a crying session, a laughing session, a massage.
A nature walk.
Nature walk.
Journaling.
There's so many different ways to access this. You don't necessarily have to exercise or move the body. It's suggested to move the energy so that you're able to sit a little bit more still. But
I love that too. So basically, we are here for you, our students. We want to see you optimize. We are not attached necessarily to yoga. Yoga happens to be a tool that works for me, so I share it in case it may resonate with you. One of the things I love to tell my students is, if eating French fries solved all our problems and made us feel great, then I would teach eating French fries. And when yoga stops being helpful, then I'll teach what is helpful. I don't need yoga to be famous or something like that. What I love is that there were times in my life when I felt overwhelmed, and I met instructors like Peter, Jen Cadarso, Justin Tang, and they really helped me get my A game on, and that's what I love. I love to share information. Maybe what I say works for you, maybe what I say doesn't, but either way, if you dismiss it, it'll either make you confident that what you have going on is great and and that it can be reassuring for you, or what we say can inspire you to come to your own creative solution. I love to see people optimize. It is my passion. You can email me at yoga@ShareLove.Fund if you have any questions. If you are not already enrolled in our RYT 200, you can enroll at ShareLove.Fund/train. The blog told me that I have to leave you with like a cliffhanger so you come back next week. I'm not really into gimmicks. I do like to provide value. If there is a way I can better serve you, email me and let me know. Take care.
bye-bye.